everyone. As you can see, I'm getting a rare glimpse of underwater. I get to see what's usually in the areas I don't get to see, and that's because they've drawn this lake down. They drew it down to fix the dam, but it gives me an opportunity to look out and see some different things. What the heck is the difference in hard bottom, soft bottom, and how does that determine what I'm supposed to use when I'm trying to catch fish? And do the fish even care? So here we go. You can kind of see where the lake is down 4 feet. So this is always underwater. This lake is never drawn down. It never gets down this low, so you never really get to see. But when you cast out and you don't know what really the bottom is doing, I mean, yeah, you should be able to feel it. And once you get more into fishing, you're using better gear, better line, better rod, it just gives you better sensitivity if you match up everything you need to do. And that's why it's so crucial. I see people all the time say, who cares what kind of line you use? Who cares if you use fluoro or mono? Or who cares if you spend $150 on a rod, or $400 on a rod, or $20 on a rod? And it doesn't matter. Well, yeah, it does. It does matter, because it all comes down to the sensitivity, and sensitivity is going to tell you what's on the bottom of the lake. But I'm going to show you where it usually typically is under the water and why it's considered a soft bottom here. And that's because it's mud. Mud or leaves or just decomposed material is going to be mostly the soft bottom areas. Now, this is a soft bottom area. I mean, look at that. I am instantly stuck. And usually that comes all the way up because this is either silted in, or it's the silt has moved from the points or the banks or even the farmer's fields and washed in over year after year after year, and it's all silted in. Now check this out. There's not only, this is sand, so it's not going to be that soft stuff. This is going to make up the hard bottom areas, the areas that that fish are going to want to use for beds if they're not going to make a bed in a real nasty muddy cove, because that silt is just going to wash over their eggs and they're gone. It's done. They're going to use sandier areas, and sand's not even particularly the best, but this is a great situation because they fan that sand off and they got rocks, they got shells from mussels, and so they're going to use this type of area to spawn. They're going to use this type of area to look for crayfish and bait and everything else. Okay, it's a little windy right here, but I'm going to try to get this in. This is a great spot. Why? It's got riprap, which we're going to get into in the next video, but the bottom is consistent of sand, rock, mussel shells. But one indication of where to find the harder bottoms is going to be on points. It's going to be where the current is going to take the silt away. Look at all these beds in this sandier area. You know, my feet are not sinking. I can walk all the way out to the water. These are harder areas. These fish are really going to come to these places to stage up, and they'll be feeding. I feel like crawfish will use these rocks, and they'll come out onto these areas. They're more likely to be out here than in the shallow junk, the mud and the muck. All right, so hopefully you understand that there is a difference when it comes to, say, fishing just one strip of bank, and why a fish may relate to the point, but he may not want to be back 100 feet in because it might turn to mud and muck. So what do you want to throw in these situations? If it's muddy, I'm not going to want to use something real heavy. Oh, I just found a lure. May have been a spinner bait or something like that. But anyway, so when it's muddy, I'm not going to want to throw like a 1/2 ounce jig or something heavy or a crankbait that's going to get way down there, for the simple fact that it's going to bury itself. It's going to sink in the mud, and all you're going to do is be dragging it through the mud. The fish aren't going to see it. Yeah, they're going to see something moving in there, but you're less likely to get a real good presentation with that lure because it's not visible. I'm going to stay with maybe spinner baits, maybe wacky rigs, and things that aren't going to bury themselves in the mud. Carolina rig is a perfect opportunity because the weight is going to stay on the bottom, but that bait is going to be up, it's going to be floating behind, and it's not going to bury in the mud. So Carolina rig has to be one of the best baits when you're searching or when you're casting and you're not sure what's down there. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you watch part 2. It's going to be about the difference of structure and cover. There's a difference. Typically, I am one that have confused them, but let's talk about it.